It all started with an innocent crush and my absolutely brilliant read, terrible plan to avoid it. Emma, you're joining DramaClub. You. My best friend Sophia practically choked on her strawberry milk in the bustling cafeteria of Riverside High. Her reaction was completely justified. I was the girl who got stage fright during third grade show and tell and never quite recovered. But desperate times called for desperate measures, and Tyler Mitchell had just transferred to our school from California. With his sun-kissed hair, emerald eyes, and that infuriatingly charming smile, he was making it impossible for me to focus in AP chemistry, which we unfortunately shared fifth period. Even more unfortunately, he sat right next to me. It's not that crazy, I mumbled, stabbing at my cafeteria mac and cheese. Maybe I want to expand my horizons. Sophia raised one perfectly arched eyebrow. This wouldn't have anything to do with Tyler joining the football team, would it? The team that practices right outside the chemistry lab windows? I felt my cheeks burn. Leave it to Sophia to hit the nail right on the head. Yes, I was joining DramaClub specifically because it met during football practice. My master plan was to avoid any possibility of watching Tyler run around in his practice uniform, which was doing unfair things to my heart rate and my grade point average. I just need something new for college applications, I lied, but Sophia's knowing smirk told me she wasn't buying it. What I didn't tell her was how I'd spent the last 3 weeks doodling Emma Mitchell in the margins of my notes, only to frantically erase them before anyone could see. Or how I'd taken to wearing my contact lenses instead of glasses just in case Tyler looked my way. Or worst of all, how I'd started taking the long route to English just to avoid passing him in the hallway because every time I did, I turned into a stammering mess. Well, Sophia said, reaching across the table to steal one of my tater tots, you better hurry. DramaClub auditions are today after school, and I heard they're doing Romeo and Juliet this year. I nearly spat out my chocolate milk. Romeo and Juliet? No way. I'm joining tech crew or something. You know, backstage stuff. Where no one can see me. Ever. The bell rang, signaling the end of lunch, and I gathered my things, already dreading fifth period chemistry. As if on cue, Tyler walked past our table, carrying his lunch tray to the disposal area. He caught my eye and smiled that devastatingly genuine smile that made his eyes crinkle at the corners. See you in chem, Emma, he said, and I swear my name had never sounded better. I watched him walk away, then turned to find Sophia giving me her patented, "You're so screwed" look. Yeah, good luck with that whole avoidance thing, she snickered. 3 hours later, I found myself standing in the school auditorium, clutching a sign-up sheet like it was a life preserver. The DramaClub supervisor, Ms. Rodriguez, was organizing everyone into groups. The place was packed. Apparently, Romeo and Juliet was a bigger draw than I'd expected. Okay, everyone. Ms. Rodriguez clapped her hands for attention. We're doing something a little different this year. In addition to our main cast, we're selecting understudies who will perform their own showing of the play. Think of it as a double cast. Great. Double the chances of embarrassment. I tried to make myself invisible as she started calling names for initial readings. I was so focused on becoming one with the auditorium wall that I almost missed it when the back door opened. And there he was. Tyler Mitchell walked in, running a hand through his slightly damp hair, presumably from football practice, looking like he'd just stepped out of a teen movie. My heart did a somersault, followed by a backflip, and stuck the landing somewhere in my stomach. What was he doing here? Football practice couldn't be over already. This wasn't part of the plan. This was, in fact, the exact opposite of the plan. Sorry I'm late, he said to Ms. Rodriguez. Coach let us out early because of the storm warning. I looked outside. The sky was perfectly clear. Ms. Rodriguez brightened. Tyler. I'm so glad you decided to join us. We need more male leads for our double casting. Male leads? Oh no. No, no, no. Emma Thompson. Ms. Rodriguez called out. You're up for initial readings. And let's have. Tyler Mitchell read opposite you. The universe, I decided in that moment, had a very twisted sense of humor. As I walked to the front of the auditorium on legs that felt like jelly, I caught Sophia's eye from where she sat in the front row. Trader friend came to watch the train wreck, apparently. She was trying to contain her laughter and failing miserably. So much for my brilliant escape plan. Instead of avoiding my crush, I was about to read the most famous love scene in theatrical history with him. In front of everyone. And that was just the beginning of how everything in my carefully planned life was about to turn upside down. The script trembled in my hands as I stood center stage. The famous balcony scene. Could Ms. Rodriguez have picked anything more mortifying? Remember, she called from the front row, this isn't just reading. Show us the chemistry. Chemistry. Right. As if I didn't have enough trouble with that subject already. Tyler stood a few feet away, looking annoyingly comfortable under the stage lights. The same lights that were making me feel like I was slowly melting. He glanced at me and gave an encouraging smile that did absolutely nothing to slow my racing heart. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Rodriguez prompted. I cleared my throat, trying to remember how to form words. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? Wait. That was Romeo's line. A ripple of laughter spread through the auditorium. I wanted to die right there on stage, preferably dramatically, like a true Shakespearean character. That's actually my line, Tyler whispered, his eyes twinkling with amusement. You're Juliet, remember? Right. Juliet. The role I was absolutely bombing. I could feel my cheeks burning as I fumbled with the script, looking for the right page. Here, Tyler said softly, stepping closer and gently turning to the correct section in my script. His fingers brushed mine, and I swear I felt a spark that would have made Edison jealous. Then something unexpected happened. Tyler didn't step back. Instead, he started his lines, and his voice. God, his voice transformed the auditorium. Gone was the laid-back California transfer student. In his place stood Romeo, hopelessly in love, speaking words written centuries ago as if they were thoughts just occurring to him. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. He was looking right at me as he said it. Not at the script, at me. And suddenly, I wasn't Emma Thompson, the girl who had a panic attack during show and tell. I was just me, responding to the warmth in his voice, the sincerity in his eyes. Oh Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? The words came naturally now, carrying all the longing and frustration I'd felt over the past weeks. Deny thy father and refuse thy name. We moved through the scene like we'd rehearsed it 100 times. The auditorium disappeared. The watching eyes faded away. It was just us, two people speaking about love in its purest, most complicated form. When we finished, there was a moment of complete silence. Then Ms. Rodriguez burst into applause, followed by the rest of the drama club. That, she announced, wiping what I swear was a tear from her eye, is what I call chemistry. I caught Sophia's eye in the front row. She wasn't laughing anymore. Her mouth was hanging open in shock. Thompson and Mitchell, Ms. Rodriguez declared, you're our Romeo and Juliet understudies. My stomach dropped. But I started to protest. No buts. She waved dismissively. That was exactly what we're looking for. Raw, genuine emotion. You two have something special. If she only knew how raw and genuine those emotions were. As we left the stage, Tyler caught up with me. Hey, you were amazing up there, he said, running his hand through his hair, a nervous gesture I'd noticed in chemistry class. I didn't know you could act like that. I wasn't acting, I mumbled before I could stop myself. What? I mean, I wasn't trying to act, I corrected quickly. I was just, responding. He looked at me thoughtfully. Yeah, me too. There was something in his voice I couldn't quite read. Hey, since we're going to be spending a lot of time together now, maybe we could grab coffee? To rehearse, of course. My heart did that annoying gymnastics routine again. To rehearse, I echoed. Great. His smile could have lit up the whole auditorium. Tomorrow after football practice. I know this great little place called The Grind. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. As he walked away, Sophia materialized beside me. So, she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm, how's that whole, avoiding Tyler, plan working out for you? But before I could respond, I noticed something that made my blood freeze. Cassidy Martin, our school's real-life teen movie queen and head cheerleader, was watching us from the auditorium entrance. Her eyes darted between me and Tyler's retreating figure, and the look on her face was anything but friendly. Sophia whispered, following my gaze, please tell me you knew that Cassidy and Tyler dated at his old school in California. I did not know that. And please tell me you knew she's playing the main cast Juliet. I definitely did not know that. Shakespeare, I realized, had nothing on the drama that was about to unfold at Riverside High. The Grind was exactly the kind of coffee shop you'd expect to find 2 blocks from a high school, all exposed brick walls, mismatched vintage furniture, and the constant hum of coffee machines mixing with indie music. I'd arrived 15 minutes early, thanks to Sophia's insistence that I make an entrance. Instead, I was just giving myself more time to panic. You look like you're about to take the SATs, Sophia texted. Breathe. Easy for her to say. She wasn't about to have coffee with Tyler Mitchell while his ex-girlfriend was probably plotting her demise somewhere across town. The bell above the door chimed, and my heart stopped. But it wasn't Tyler, it was Cassidy Martin, followed by her usual entourage of cheerleaders. Because of course it was. The Grind was apparently the place to be on a Thursday afternoon. I tried to make myself invisible behind my copy of Romeo and Juliet, but Cassidy spotted me immediately. She said something to her friends, then broke away from the group and headed straight for my table. Her designer boots clicked ominously against the wooden floor. Emma, right? She slid into the chair across from me, her smile as artificial as the sweetener packets on the table. We should talk. About the play? I managed to squeak out. About Tyler. She leaned forward, her perfectly manicured fingers drumming on the table. Look, I'm going to be straight with you. Tyler and I have history. Complicated history. And now that he's here. I'm just his scene partner, I interrupted quickly. Her laugh was like ice cracking. Honey, I saw how he looked at you during auditions. That's not just scene partners. She paused, studying me. You know why he left California? I shook my head. He was supposed to star in our school's production of West Side Story. With me, obviously. Opening night, he just disappeared. No explanation, no nothing. The understudy had to go on. Do you know how humiliating that was? My mind was racing. Tyler hadn't mentioned anything about this. But that's not even the best part, Cassidy continued, her voice dropping to a near whisper. 2 weeks later, I found out he'd been seeing my best friend behind my back. 4 months. My stomach churned. This couldn't be true. Not the Tyler I knew from chemistry class, who helped other students with their equations and always had a kind word for everyone. Just, be careful, Cassidy said, standing up. Tyler Mitchell isn't the golden boy everyone thinks he is. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Emma? Break a leg at rehearsal tomorrow. Really? Break one. As if on cue, Tyler walked in just as Cassidy reached her friends. They brushed past each other without acknowledgement, though I swear I saw him flinch slightly. Hey! He slid into the seat Cassidy had just vacated, his smile bright but slightly nervous. Sorry I'm late. Coach wanted to talk about the homecoming game. I must have looked as shell-shocked as I felt, because his smile faltered. Everything okay? Why did you really leave California? The words tumbled out before I could stop them. His face fell, and for a moment, he looked much older than 17. Cassidy talked to you. It wasn't a question. Tyler, if you were seeing her best friend. What? His eyes widened. Is that what she told you? He ran both hands through his hair, double nervous gesture. Emma, that's not. God, that's not what happened at all. Just then, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it and his face went pale. I have to go, he said abruptly, standing up. Family emergency. But Emma, please, don't believe everything you hear, okay? Can we talk tomorrow? Before rehearsal? I nodded, even though every romantic comedy I'd ever watched was screaming at me not to. As I watched him hurry out of the grind, my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. It was a photo Tyler and a pretty blonde girl, obviously taken in California. They were laughing, looking at each other like they were sharing the world's best secret. The caption read, "Ask him about Sarah." Better yet, ask him why she won't talk to him anymore. I stared at the photo until my vision blurred. The worst part wasn't the way they looked together, or the mystery behind it all. The worst part was how much it hurt, seeing him look at someone else the way I'd thought he'd looked at me during auditions. My phone buzzed again, Sophia calling. You will not believe what I just found out about Tyler's last school. But I was already gathering my things, nearly knocking over my untouched coffee in the process. Actually, I don't think I want to know. Emma, wait. I have to go, I cut her off. I need to practice my lines. The understudy has to be ready, right? In case the star disappears. I left the grind with Shakespeare's words echoing in my head, for never was a story of more woe. Yeah, Will. You have no idea. The next week of rehearsals was an exercise in emotional acrobatics. Playing star-crossed lovers with someone while actively avoiding them in real life. Not recommended. Tyler tried to talk to me several times, but I'd perfected the art of disappearing the moment Ms. Rodriguez called break. Even in chemistry, I'd switched seats with another student, claiming the Bunsen burner smoke was aggravating my allergies. If Tyler knew I didn't have allergies, he didn't mention it. This is getting ridiculous, Sophia announced at lunch, watching me duck behind a potted plant as Tyler entered the cafeteria. You're literally hiding from Romeo behind a ficus. It's a fern, I corrected, still crouching. And I'm not hiding, I'm practicing my stage movements. Right. Because Juliet famously hid behind shrubbery. But everything changed during Thursday's rehearsal. We were working on the final scene, you know, the one where both characters die tragically because of a massive miscommunication. Fitting, really. More emotion. Ms. Rodriguez called from the audience. Remember, Juliet thinks Romeo is actually dead. I looked down at Tyler, lying dead on the stage floor. Despite my best efforts to stay professional, I felt tears welling up. Maybe it was the stress of the past week, or maybe it was the way he still looked perfect even pretending to be dead, but something inside me cracked. Oh, comfortable friar. Where is my lord? My voice broke on the last word. I do remember well where I should be, and there I am. Where is my Romeo? The tears were real now, falling onto Tyler's face. I saw his eyelids flutter slightly, fighting the urge to react. Amazing! Ms. Rodriguez exclaimed. Now, find the vial of poison. But she was interrupted by the auditorium doors bursting open. A girl with short blonde hair, the same girl from the photo, strode down the center aisle. Sarah. Tyler sat up so fast he nearly knocked me over. What are you? You left this in California, she announced, holding up a worn leather journal. Thought you might want it back. The entire drama club was frozen, watching this scene unfold, a performance none of us had rehearsed. I can't believe Cassidy actually did it, Sarah continued, her voice tight with anger. She really transferred schools just to follow you. That's next level stalking, even for her. Wait, what? Tyler was standing now, his face a mix of emotions I couldn't read. Sarah, I'm sorry, I should have told them the truth. Yeah, you should have. Instead, you let Cassidy spread her lies and ran away. She turned to face the rest of us. You all want to know why Tyler really left California. Because my psycho sister, yes, Cassidy is my sister, couldn't handle the fact that her lead actor didn't want to date her. The auditorium erupted in whispers. Cassidy, who had been watching from the wings, stepped forward. Sarah, don't you dare. What? Tell them how you threatened to accuse Tyler of stealing the drama department funds if he didn't take you to prom. Or how you manipulated the casting so you'd get every lead role. Or maybe about the restraining order our parents tried to get. That's enough. Tyler's voice was quiet but firm. He walked to Sarah and gently took the journal. Thank you for bringing this, but this isn't the way. Then what is? Sarah demanded. You were the best thing that happened to our drama department, and she drove you away. And now she's trying to do it again. I felt like I was watching a play within a play. Tyler, sweet, gentle Tyler, had been running not from his mistakes, but from someone else's obsession. Tyler, I found myself saying, is this true? He finally met my eyes. I wanted to tell you. That day at the grind, the family emergency, was Sarah texting me that Cassidy had somehow gotten her parents to enroll her here. I panicked. I thought if I just kept my distance from everyone, maybe history wouldn't repeat itself. That worked out well, Sophia muttered from somewhere behind me. The photo, I said, remembering. Of you and Sarah. Was from our last production, Sarah finished. Cassidy took it. Right before she edited all the other cast photos to make it look like she and Tyler were the leads. Classic Cassidy move. You don't know what you're talking about, Cassidy snapped, but her voice wavered. Ms. Rodriguez, who had been uncharacteristically quiet, finally stood up. Cassidy, I think you should go to the principal's office. Now. But I'm Juliet. The real Juliet. Not anymore. Ms. Rodriguez's voice was firm. Understudies? You've just been promoted to main cast. As Cassidy stormed out, the room erupted in applause. Someone in the back yelled, "The show must go on," which got a laugh. But I wasn't laughing. I was looking at Tyler, who was looking at me with those earnest green eyes. Emma, he started, I know I messed up by not telling you everything. But every moment with you on this stage and off it has been real. More real than anything in California. More real than. I didn't let him finish. Instead, I did something that definitely wasn't in Shakespeare's stage directions. I kissed him. Right there on stage, in front of the entire drama club, Sarah, Ms. Rodriguez, and what felt like the ghost of William Shakespeare himself. When we broke apart, someone definitely Sophia Wolf whistled. Well, Ms. Rodriguez said, trying to hide her smile, I suppose that's one way to interpret the scene. Tyler was grinning. Does this mean you'll be my lab partner again? Depends, I said. Are you going to help me ace chemistry? Oh, I don't think you need any help with chemistry, Sophia called out, earning another round of laughter. And there, under the harsh fluorescent lights of our school auditorium, with a half-finished tragic scene around us, I realized something. Sometimes the best love stories aren't the ones that are written down. They're the ones we write ourselves. Opening night arrived with all the chaos you'd expect from a high school production. The air backstage was thick with hairspray and anxiety. Sophia, who had appointed herself my unofficial stage manager, was frantically adjusting my costume while I tried not to hyperventilate. Stop fidgeting, she ordered, pinning a loose strand of hair. You've rehearsed this a million times. Yeah, but those times didn't have an actual audience, I whispered, peeking through the curtain. The auditorium was packed. I spotted my parents in the front row, my dad already setting up his camera. Next to them sat Tyler's family, including his little sister wearing a Team Romeo t-shirt. 5 minutes to places. Ms. Rodriguez called out, her voice carrying that particular mix of excitement and terror that only theater teachers can achieve. Tyler appeared beside me, looking unfairly handsome in his Renaissance costume. Ready to die for love? He asked with a grin. Don't make me laugh, I warned. My makeup took forever. His expression softened as he took my hands. Hey, remember what you told me during our first reading? About not acting? I nodded. Same thing tonight. Just be you. That's all I need. From anyone else, it would have sounded cheesy. From Tyler, it made my heart do that familiar gymnastics routine. The overture began, and just like that, we were on. The first act flew by in a blur of memorized lines and carefully choreographed movements. But something was different tonight. Every word felt charged with real emotion, every scene carrying the weight of our own story. During intermission, Sophia rushed up with water bottles and praise. You guys are killing it. And I mean that in a non-Shakespearean way. Then came the final scene. As I approached Tyler's lifeless body, I felt real tears forming. Method acting? No. I was remembering everything, the misunderstandings, the pain of doubt, the joy of discovery. It all poured into Juliet's words. What's here? A cup, closed in my true love's hand. My voice carried across the silent auditorium. Poison, I see, hath been his timeless end. I looked at Tyler's face, peaceful in pretend death, and thought about how close I'd come to letting fear and doubt poison our chance at happiness. Oh churl. Drunk all, and left no friendly drop to help me after. The next few moments were pure Shakespeare, tragic, romantic, and just a little bit extra. As I delivered Juliet's final lines and fell beside Romeo, I heard actual sniffling from the audience. The curtain fell to thunderous applause. As we got up for curtain call, Tyler squeezed my hand. That was magical. Ms. Rodriguez appeared, dabbing her eyes. Absolutely magical. And look who's here. We turned to find Sarah beaming at us, holding a bouquet. Told you he was worth fighting for, she said, handing me the flowers. Much better love story than anything Cassidy could have manufactured. Speaking of Cassidy, rumor had it she'd transferred to a private school in Vermont. Apparently, some stories are better without their villains. The after-party was held in the school cafeteria, now transformed with twinkle lights and catered food that definitely wasn't from the lunch lady. My parents couldn't stop hugging me, and Tyler's mom kept showing everyone the videos she'd taken. Speech, someone called out, and suddenly all eyes were on us. Tyler looked at me, that familiar mischievous glint in his eyes. Well, as Shakespeare said. Oh no, I interrupted, laughing. No more Shakespeare. I think we can tell our own story now. He pulled me close. You mean the one about how you joined DramaClub to avoid me? And ended up falling for you instead? Yeah, that one. Best plot twist ever, Sophia declared, raising her punch glass in a toast. Later, as we slow danced under the cafeteria's fluorescent light, someone had convinced the DJ to play Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits. Very funny. I rested my head on Tyler's shoulder. You know what's weird? I said. If Cassidy hadn't followed you here, if she hadn't tried to sabotage everything, we might not have gotten here at all, Tyler finished. Guess sometimes the antagonist is actually the catalyst. Look at you, using SAT words. Well, I have this amazing chemistry partner who's been helping me study. I lifted my head to look at him. Just chemistry? His answer was a kiss that would have made Shakespeare himself tear up his tragic ending and write a happier one. As we swayed to the music, surrounded by our castmates, friends, and family, I thought about how stories end. In Shakespeare's version, Romeo and Juliet need death to prove their love. But in our version, the one we wrote ourselves, all we needed was truth, trust, and maybe a little bit of drama club magic. The stage lights were off now, the costumes back in wardrobe, but somehow I knew, this was just our opening act. And unlike Juliet, I couldn't wait for all the tomorrows to come.